Balanced scorecard initiatives, the glue that binds budgets to strategy. In this chapter, initiative defined as the specific programs, activities, projects, or actions you will embark on to help ensure that you meet or exceed your performance targets. It is also a design to close the gap between current performance and that embodied in the stretch targets established. So the target that mentioned there is your end in mind for the performance being measured. So to get there, you need to determine what investment. It can be the people, processes, technology, and etc. to necessarily guarantee a positive outcome. This topic will outline the specific steps that everyone can follow to ensure the budget being established would reflect strategy. As previously discussed, the scorecard introduces a whole new framework for management that places strategy, not financial controls, at the center of the organizational universe. As a general rule, you need a high-level scorecard and a series of cascaded balanced scorecard to effectively execute the budget or to link balanced scorecard. Somehow, this can often be accomplished during year 2 of your implementation, but if the company believes that it is ready for positive changes during 1 year or during year 1, then by all means take advantage of that and make beneficial link to balance scorecard. So there are 5 steps in linking balance scorecards to budget. Step 1. Plan ahead. Probably have a well-established budget process or new budgeting process. Provide ample assistance to those responsible for developing budgets. Probably have a well-established budget process or new budgeting process. This includes a very thick document. It is distributed to all budget preparers throughout the company. Provide ample assistance to those responsible for developing budgets. Audiences around the company must be prepared for what lies ahead, the new processes and methods that will use to generate budgets that align spending with a strategy and balance scorecard, or the team should form the first line assistance, providing training, guidance, and especially support.
Step 2. Develop or refine the high-level organizational balance scorecard. The organizational balance scorecard set priorities for the company as a whole, describing to everyone the key objectives and measures that signal success. All subsequently cascaded scorecards will align with the measures appearing on this balance scorecard. Step 3. Build cascaded balance scorecard. Business units, department, teams, and individuals develop scorecards that demonstrate how they can influence higher level objectives and outline the specific indicators they will track. Ideally, the budget should support year 1 targets and a series aimed at achieving the stretch goals you develop for each performance measure. Each initiative appearing on the scorecard should include a reference to the associated strategy it supports. This is the case regardless of the organizational level. Teams should also provide clearly stated resource requirements. Kaplan and Norton suggest that organizations should follow a method of dynamic budgeting, whereas dynamic budgeting represents the combination of operational and strategic budgeting. The operational budget is used to support the allocation of resources necessary for recurring operations, whereas the strategic budget directs spending on the key initiative designed to close the gap between current and desired performance on critical strategic drivers.
The next step is compile a result. So the first task in step 4 is to provide throughout your agency with templates that they can use easily capture resource requirements relating to scorecard initiatives. These examples displays simplified templates that groups may use to record their budget submission. In this example, the Mortgages Lending Department of a bank has outlined 3 initiatives. So they believe in achieving 75% in customer loyalty rating are crucial. So everything shown in this illustration must have a backup documentation for support, like the detailed balance scorecard for mortgages lending, a breakdown of the specific elements comprising the initiatives and the related cost. So these details are necessary for executive to make an informed decision regarding which initiatives to fund and which to defer. Keep in mind that this is just one measure. You'll require documents such as this for all measures. Each initiatives must be accompanied by supporting documents, as well cost, timing dependencies, key milestones, payback, periods, and so on.
And next assignment is compiling budget requests throughout the agency. So the roll-up should be summarized in relation to their corresponding strategy. As we can see in the illustration, that one of fictional bank strategies is to become customer-focused. So they develop 3 objectives on their balance scorecard. First is increase in customers' loyalty. Second is increase in customers' confidence. And lastly, increase in flexible solutions. The next column shows the bank current performance on each of those objectives. Customers' loyalty is green, which signals acceptable performance. Customer confidence is yellow, which raises a flag of caution. And lastly is the flexible solution, which is red, meaning it is performing below the target. The last 2 columns provide a roll-up of budget requests from around the organization related to its objectives. Executive can use the sample form to determine where the majority of spending requests are being directed and take action to ensure an appropriate balance in the allocation of resources. So in the example, we say that customers' loyalty is currently green, meaning it is performing at a satisfactory level. Executive must determine how much they are willing to spend to sustain this performance. Similarly, they must determine how much to commit to flexible solution, which is currently performing below their expectations. And customers' confidence is currently displaying yellow or cautionary performance.
And the last step is the finalized budget. Once all budget requests have been tabulated, you will always discover a gap, but maybe a gap is too euphemistic, so a word abyss may be a better description. The abyss to which I am referring is the difference between the funds requested by the groups throughout the agency and the funds you have available. So, to close the gap and finalize the budget, the head of each group should deliver a formal presentation to senior leaders, outlining the budget submissions from his or her group to include what they encompass, why they are strategically significant, and how they will positively impact scorecard targets. So by clearly demonstrating how initiative linked to scorecard targets, the information presented will assist leaders in making appropriate allocation decisions.
Now that the process becomes
Iterative in nature, which executives reviewing and questioning the proposals, attempting to determine which are worthy of inclusion in the budget. So to ease the decision-making process, you may wish to develop an internal ranking system for initiatives you propose. A simplified rating system may be devised to represent the potential impact of removing a specific initiative on the balanced scorecard.
example, A 1 might indicate an initiative that
could be eliminated and have minimal impact on the ability of the group to achieve its target. A 2 might translate to an initiative that could be cut but with a definite effect on the group's chances of meeting targeted expectations. And finally, those initiatives given 3 could represent those initiatives that are deemed as crucial to successful achievement of scorecard targets. So the ratings will be necessarily subjective, but they will serve as a powerful impetus for conversations centered on establishing spending priorities.
Good day, everyone. So here is my report. The benefits of using the balanced scorecard to drive the budgeting processes. The methods and techniques described in this chapter may at first glance appear very simplistic. In fact, you may consider them too simplistic to work in your organization. The simplistic approach advocated here is done so intentionally. We often benefit from questioning our exceeding complex processes and getting back to the core purposes represented by our actions. What is the fundamental purpose of a budget? To allocate scarce resources among a variety of possible alternatives? What better way to do that than to use the balanced scorecard that is direct and faithful translation of our strategy? Only those initiatives that provide a meaningful contribution to the fulfillment of strategic objectives should be undertaken. Many organizations are beginning to embrace the possibility of simplicity in organization life. The questioning the core purposes of all corporate actions. Other benefits accruing to those who choose to let the scorecard lead the way for developing budget includes reinforces your key strategies. Rather than taking last year's budget and adding a certain percentage, the balanced scorecard puts strategy at the center of your budget cycle. Making synonymous with budget dollars is a great way to get a lot of people to stand up and take notice. Your organization is a double winner. In order to prepare effective budgets, managers and employees must develop a firm grasp of the essence of the strategy, thereby increasing organizational knowledge and learning. Second, and equally important, the budgets submitted demonstrate how individual groups plan to have a real impact on the strategy.
The next benefit of using the balanced scorecard to drive the budgeting process is it reduces game playing. So when you institute a system like the balanced scorecard, which features strategy as the key principle, it reduces the likelihood of the typical game playing of normal budgeting efforts. So as stated, balanced scorecard is it features strategy as its key principle. So sa budgeting aside, it encourages or forces everyone na ang ilang i-propose na allocation for budget is dapat siya na direct link sa strategy nila. So that is why nga it reduces game playing. It allows all involved to really plan and consider mga aspects. If ang ilang spending plans ba is na-align din siya sa strategy. So dili sila makabasta-basta lang og demand asking for a little more for the budget or promising a little less. So game playing here is significantly reduced since ang mga budget preparers must clearly demonstrate a connection between spending appeals and the strategy. Next is it leads to cooperation. For any retooling of the budgeting process to work, managers must switch their mindset away from trying to hit their own personal budget numbers and towards a team approach focused on meeting the organization's strategic objectives. So isa sad sa benefit of using the balanced scorecard sa budgeting is that it actually encourages an open dialogue sa tanan nga involved. Kung sa gyud ang best way or way of spending that will achieve broad corporate goals. Kaya usually man god is mag-iiya ra gid ang uban like ang mga departments or other aspects sa organization. Unwilling sila mag-share sa ilang spending plans Kaya na mga instances nga if ever i-share nila ilang spending plans kay ma-reduce ang ilahang funds. So there is really a fear involved resulting for managers to keep their plans among themselves. So in using the balanced scorecard, it really fosters cooperation. Kaya it allows good for everyone to be involved and be more open in terms sa ilahang spending plans and focus on their common goal that benefits most the organization. So moreover, with the scorecard in place, managers are encouraged to explore synergies among groups and look for ways that everyone can achieve their individual goals, which when aggregated will translate to a win at the organizational level as well. So the last benefit is that it facilitates learning. So organizations should really carefully review the results achieved from the budget decision. A post-audit or review should be conducted to determine whether the anticipated effort on the scorecard targets from a certain initiative did in fact produce the expected benefit. So here, it really allows a room for learning. Okay, they really need to carefully know or learn if ever ba nga ilahang mga budgeting decisions is na-align siya sa na-connect siya sa mga important na aspects sa balanced scorecard. So, similar to the scorecard itself, which is based on management hypothesis of the relationship among performance measures, funded initiatives represent a hypothesis. So, they must be subjected to the same rigorous testing as scorecard objectives and measures to ensure that the theory behind the initiatives is valid and producing results. In addition, learning is really accelerated as ang organization kay ginagamit gid nila ang mismo nga results sa balanced scorecard to question the assumptions nga surrounds the initiatives in the budget.
And that would be all. Thank you.